everybody, Joe in the Hat here. It is the coldest day of the year in Florida so far right now. So I came up to Three Sisters Springs in Crystal River, and I'm gonna hop that bus. We're gonna go see if we can see some manatees today. Come on.
Alright, welcome to downtown Crystal River, better known as Heritage Village. It is a stop on the trolley on the way back if you wish. Home to some restaurants, gift shops, and coffee houses. Coming up on the left-hand side of the trolley, that building with the big front porch on it is now a River Ranch restaurant. But back in the 1800s, it served the city's livery stable. On the opposite side of the corner there, on the other side of the street, that boat or scow that you see is a replica of the Spirit of Crystal River. Back in the 1800s, it used to sail the coast of Florida, delivering various kinds of goods. And I just found out recently that when they replicated it, they used the same tools that they would have back in the 1800s. Coming up on the right-hand side of the trolley, that building looks like the Alamo. It used to house City Hall at one time. It's now our Coastal Heritage Museum. As I get ready to make the bend of the road here, if you look beyond the cedar trees on the right-hand side of the trolley, you'll see a brown house up on stilts. That's our bathhouse. And those white boxes you see scattered throughout the property are bluebird houses. The last trolley out of the refuge will be at 4:30 this afternoon. So we ask that you please plan your trip accordingly, because as cute as those manatees are, I really don't think you want to do it.
The best place to see them right now, if you want to get some good photographs, would be to follow the boardwalk around this way and go to the straight across that boardwalk right there.
Okay.
This will just take you all the way around. There are about 4 or 5 big animals in that, what we call Little Sister. And then come back around this way and you'll see a whole bunch of them down at the end of the point here.
So I've always known that cold weather is good for manatees, or at least if you want to go find manatees, because you come to the springs like this one, where the temperature is more regulated. It's 72 degrees year round, and the manatees like the warmth on a cold day like this. But what I did not know was you want high tide, which makes sense obviously, because the more water that's in the spring, the more water there is for the manatees to hang out in. Well, this place is called Crystal River for a reason. I don't think I've ever seen manatees in water this clear. I'm used to going to local parks and just the water is what the water is. It's usually dark, a little muddy. It was like looking at them through glass. Holy sea cow. That is a lot of manatees. It looks like this area is roped off and protected so boaters don't come and get the manatees. But it looks like slowly but surely these manatees are thinking the weather's warmed up enough, the sun's come out enough. They're inching their way to the edge of those ropes. Maybe they're looking to get out. Or maybe just dipping their toe in the waters and realizing, that's probably a bad idea. That right there was pretty good. That's probably worth the price of admission alone. But supposedly there's a guided tour coming up soon, so hopefully I'm not late for that. Let's see if I can go catch that.
This is the biggest, the biggest spring is right here where these manatees are huddled down. Mm-hmm. This one puts out the most water. This PVC pipe, in the winter season between November the 15th and the end of March, no water cracks back here.
Okay.
Summer season, we allow kayaks and canoes back here.
Okay.
during manatee season, November 15th to 11th March, close it off to kayaks and canoes. When we need to, like now, when the Gulf goes below 68 degrees, the animals cannot maintain their life. I mean, they begin to develop hypothermia and frostbite. So they come in here, and when it gets really cold, like now, we allow swimmers back here, but you see the PVC pipe across here, and there's another one on the other end. Those are sanctuaries. So when swimmers are allowed back here, manatees can go into the sanctuaries and be safe from the human beings. We have several spring beds back here. These animals right over here are huddled down over one.
So it's kind of like being at a pool and the jets. You want to hang out by the jets to keep warm.
That's exactly right. There are no bubbles because bubbles require oxygen. It's like sticking a hose in a bucket of water. So, the little thing on the post there, you know what it is?
My assumption is some kind of feeder.
You are wrong.
Okay.
You're not even close. That is a bluebird nesting box. The guy that made them, and I say made because I just found out the other day that he has passed on. His name was Louis Nipper. He was 93 or so when he passed away last fall. We just found out about it. He made these boxes in his garage. That was his hobby after he retired. And they're designed specifically for bluebirds, and I don't know how that's done, but that's what
I was just going to ask you, what's the difference between a bluebird and a regular bird getting there?
And right. I can't answer the question. I'm not sure. These plastic buckets are to keep the reptiles from climbing up and raiding the boxes. So we have volunteers that check them from time to time, and apparently they work. A couple of weeks, we're coming up on a place where we can see the bridge on Kings Bay Drive. They do a health assessment, which consists of when animals swim under this bridge and head for Kings Bay at low tide, they try to capture 4 or 5 animals, 6 animals over a couple of day period. They poke them, prod them, take samples, figure out how basically they're looking for to determine how the health of the animals is at that particular time. The last couple of years they have concluded at the end of the exercise that if you were a Florida manatee, Crystal River is where you'd want to live, because there is food supply in the Gulf of Mexico consisting of a large seagrass bed between Crystal River and Homosassa, and you've got the nice warm springs in Kings Bay. Here's a tag manatee. There are several tag programs by various agencies. You see the one with
the little blue?
That is a tag.
Wow.
It's a GPS device tied to the animal's tail with a rope and a belt. And it's designed to break loose if he gets tangled up. But somebody is watching him.
So while this place basically does seem like it's just a dock with a lookout point, that guided tour I felt was a way to add real value to the price of admission. That was really fun. You got a lot of great information. I learned stuff, obviously. I hope you did too. Let's see what else we can find while we're out here. And this is what they mean by come during high tide. As you can see, the water is much lower from before we did our walking tour. And now all the manatees are gone. That walking tour was about 20 minutes long. Probably before and after I shot that was about half an hour. So in 30 minutes, I went from as many as you saw before to this. So here's a map on the boardwalk to give you an idea of where we're at. Over here is the Gulf of Mexico. Here are all the little inlets, and the star is right where we're at, where the water is much warmer for the manatees. So back in the area where we saw the most manatees at, now we see some snorkelers coming through. That has got to be an interesting way to see a manatee. I like the technique of using a pool noodle for snorkeling. Today was a lot of fun. I can't think of a better outdoor activity to do in Florida when it's cold than coming out and try and find manatees. Remember, if you try to do that, you gotta be a little bit of a meteorologist. 2 things: cold temperatures and high tide. I got 1 out of the 2 today. That turned out for a pretty okay day. Look at, they're right over my shoulder. That's awesome. This is at Three Sister Springs in Crystal River. You go to City Hall, check in over there, buy your trolley ticket. They drive you right out here, and there's a lot to see and do. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me today. You know what to do.